welcome to Dr. V's Place. I'm super excited for our inaugural episode as we come back revamped, revised, and revived, ready for another amazing season of Dr. V's Place. So I'm going to give you guys a moment to come on in. I've got an exciting guest tonight. I can't wait for you to meet her. Those of you who have followed me for any length of time, you've met her, you've seen her all my lives, always commenting, and she's also been on the drive-by. So you know her, but you don't necessarily know her in this capacity. So I'm super excited about that. While you guys are coming in, let me ask you to go ahead and share this broadcast with your friends, share it on your timeline, share it in your stories, but share it because we want everyone to get the opportunity to be a part of what's happening tonight. Now, while we are waiting for you guys to get on and to share and to do all of those amazing things, we're going to go ahead and bring to the front of the stage my girl, my protege, none other than the author, April Green Anderson. So you guys help me welcome her to the stage.
Hi.
Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, Dr. V, how are you?
I'm absolutely amazing and so excited to have you on the show.
I'm excited too. I'm just been in awe all day long and in anticipation of being on here. So this is amazing. This is great. I'm humbled and almost speechless. Like, wow. So this is great.
Well, I'm so glad you're here. For those of you that are just joining us, go ahead, let us know who's here and where you're tuning in from. Let us know who's here and where you're tuning in from. Hey, Catherine, how are you? Gorgeous. Dr. Betts in the building. Come through,
Octopus.
come through. Yes. Who else is here? Let us know who's here and where you're tuning in from. So excited. Girl, Listen, I can't wait for you to share, some of the book, girl, because I had the privilege of reading it, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Jackie, hey, Jackie, Georgia in the building.
Georgia,
I love
Georgia.
it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I
I
think it's
love it.
I think it's going to be different for me reading it and out loud and hearing it as opposed to when I was writing it. Because when I was writing it, it's like, oh God, yes, yes. But actually hearing it out loud is probably going to be, Lord, you gave me that. Whoa. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited about what has been produced. I'm excited about what's to come. Just
Yes.
still in awe. Yeah, I am. I
Well,
am.
you should be. You should be. You have done something that's absolutely amazing and incredible because I really challenged you, right? Like in March, I was like, April, you need to do this book. April, you need to go on and do this book. You were like,
Literally. I
what?
literally was like that. Like, say what now? Okay. And I'm grateful for obedience and doing it.
Mm.
And it was done, it wasn't stressful, it was done with ease and it just flowed. And even as I wrote and then I would go back and read over entries, God would give me more to add in there. And I'm like, okay, God, I got you. So I'm typing and adding in extra. So it was I'm grateful for the push because you saw what was in me more than I saw in myself. And then you pushed me and you challenged me to do it. So I definitely wanted to make sure that I executed. And it was in his plan. So and here we are. Here we
Here
are.
we are. Good evening,
Yeah.
Corey. How you doing, gorgeous?
Hey Corey. Oh my
So
goodness.
tonight, I want to have the opportunity to just talk to you because you've had a lot of transitions. And you did this with a move
Yeah.
to a brand new location. You made some major decisions, some major moves, and you still were able to execute and do the book. So let's start by talking about how the book was birthed. What even made me tell you, oh, you need to just do the book?
That's a good question. You probably can answer that better than me, but I had just doing inspirational writings and everything comes from my life. and day-to-day experiences. And when I tell you how God was just connect it and drop it, I was like, okay, God, really? And then you would always say, girl, you are dropping some serious stuff. You need to put this in a book. I had never thought about that because I was content. At that time, I was just putting it on Facebook because, if you don't format it a certain way, it won't go anywhere else. So I had to learn how to do it where I could put it on Facebook and Instagram. But then when I started compiling it into a book, and then what I realized was this. I had been writing and had them on pieces of paper, not the same stuff that I put on Facebook, but other things in addition to that. So I had already started writing the book without actually writing the book. So I was able to go back to this stack of papers that I had where all these entries, and so I'm reviewing over it like, oh my goodness, when did I write this? And just adding it in there. And the next thing you know, I had more than enough for this first book. So I even have leftover entries that will go for the next volume. So I'm like, whoa, this is something. Yeah.
So what you're telling me is you already had this stuff written for the book. It was just a matter of pulling it together. So
Yep.
whole time you had the book, you just had to format it.
Yes. Absolutely. And I never, when I write, whether it's write a message, if I'm going to preach or if I'm going to do a motivational speaking talk or anything presentation, I always keep that presentation that I've written or that I've typed. It's in my computer or on a flash drive. So it was just a matter of, and I couldn't at the time remember, like, where is this? Where is it? And God took me straight to the book that had everything in it. And I mean, it was like meant to be. So like, okay, so it just made it easy to transfer it from one to a formal book and do it that way. So very
Wow.
excited. Yeah.
Hold on a second. Let me see if I can get it so that I was trying to get it so that your name would pop up. It doesn't want to let me be great, honey.
Oh, you're great.
I am, girl, and so
Great.
are you.
We're not worried about technology. We great without the technology. It's all good.
Okay. So in doing it, and pulling the book together, on a scale of 1 to 10, how difficult was that process?
With 10 being the most difficult and 1 being the
Yes.
least,
Yes.
maybe a 2 or 3. And I will only say that because of coordinating the time to sit and write. And one thing that I am learning and working on is time management. Because when I start working on something that I love and I like and it's just flowing, I don't want to stop. And the next thing I know, I've spent 8 hours typing up a book. So it didn't take me long to get it formatted, to get it into the template because I was enjoying it and just typing it and rereading over some of the entries. It was like, oh my goodness, and my fingers were just going and going. I was so excited, like I cannot believe. And that's what motivated me the more, to know that I was getting this project together to be able to publish and have people purchase to read, to encourage them. So I wanted to make sure I did my part. But that difficulty level, nah, it was 2 or 3 only because of the time, only because I just was on it. So yeah, that's it.
Wow. Because most people are very intimidated by the process of writing a book. Like, to them, it's very overwhelming. It can be overwhelming, it can be frustrating. So to hear you say that it was like a 2, and you didn't even take my class. You didn't take my class. Like, I literally just told you what to do.
Yeah.
I told you what to do. It's like, April, this is what you do. Here's this. I'm gonna put you in this. I love that you were able to do that initiative and how that worked out for you. Now, let me ask you this, right? So as you were pulling together the devotions, right? As you were pulling them together, you were formatting them. What stood out to you the most? What do you think is the greatest lesson that you got from this entire process?
I think one of the greatest things was for me to really see that I could produce something of value. I do.
Wow.
And I say that because as I put the post up on social media that I had was writing the book, and as I was going through the process, the feedback and the comments that I would get from people that I know, just the encouraging words, for me to know that I could do that, that was the greatest thing to let me know what God has placed in me is coming forth and it's there. And I've been told of so many things that I am anointed and blessed to do and gifted to do. And I'm like, yeah, okay, you hear stuff and you just kind of brush it off like, yeah, all right, whatever. But to actually see it to come to fruition, it's like, whoa, so I really do possibly have that in me. So that motivated me and encouraged me to know with God, if God has mandated you to do something, He's going to put his stamp of approval on it and he's going to bless you in it. And he did that. And then people, when I put the link up, that's another thing. You know, when I put the link up on social media, like, oh my God, I'm so excited. The book is finished. You can pre-order. And then my email just started dinging and dinging and dinging. And I'm like, well, what's going on? And people were pre-ordering and all of the congratulations and all the excitement. And I'm like, I'm still today in awe, in shock. Like, I cannot believe what is going on. Wow. But I'm so humble and grateful. I really am. God is absolutely amazing. He is.
Wow. So in this process and in the journey, as you've gone on this journey and it has been what it's been, right?
Mhm.
Um, what is it that you think has probably built you the most?
Oh, thank you, Mardan. What has built me the most? Um, I know my confidence level has definitely been built. So
Mhm.
it's been built to the point now. I don't know if I told you this, but I started writing two other books prior to this one, probably a year
Okay.
and a half, maybe 2 years ago. And
Mm.
God gave me the titles and I had them and I started writing and then I just stopped. And so
Wow.
I stopped writing, but this has motivated me more to go back because I actually heard God say, now go back to the other ones. And I said, okay, so now I got to pick those up and do that. So there's going to be multiple things being written at the same time. So it really boosted my confidence level to know that I can do it. Now, one gift that God has given me is the ability to write.
Yeah.
Right. I would maybe I can say master writer. I don't know, but
Mhm.
that proofreader, editor, all of that because I really know how to put words together. I remember my brother. He's trying to get back into college, and he needed a reference letter. And so I wrote a reference letter and I sent it, and he was like, "Well, I thought I was going up for the president of the United States the way you wrote that letter." So, but it
Girl.
just flows. That's one thing, it flows. So this really built me up to know, go forth and do this. If you can do this and produce this, you can do whatever. Why are you doubting? Why are you holding yourself back? Why are you hesitating? So I'm not going to do that. I'm not with anything anymore. I'm not going to hesitate. I'm just going full speed ahead. So
I love that. I love that. And you're absolutely right. You're an excellent writer. But you know what? That's one of the things that I love about our sister squad. Everybody writes.
yeah.
Everybody is an amazing writer.
Mhm.
Very articulate, knows how to put those words together. And that is a
Yeah.
blessing because it means that we get to sharpen each other. So
Mhm.
that's incredible. So talk to me a little bit about your support during the process.
Wow. So my the sister squad, my greatest supporters. Um, when I was working on the cover, what cover I would choose for the book, and I would send in different ones, and the feedback and the encouraging words. That just, yeah, they don't know, but on the other end, when I was reading the messages, I'm like cheesing from ear to ear, like, oh, I feel so special. They made me feel really, and continue to do that every day that we interact, make me feel important and make me feel special and make me feel like that I can do anything. Corey, near and dear to my heart, one thing that she says is, sis, you motivate me so much and you encourage me. And that encourages me because that's what I'm about. I'm not about the fortune and fame and notoriety. If I can encourage and uplift at least one person or give them the push that they need to go into what they need to do, what God has called them to do, then mission accomplished. Like I'm not doing this to pump myself up, because just like I get pumped up, I can get deflated, So I'm not
Yes.
in it. I'm in it to genuinely encourage people and help people and uplift them. So I hope that what I have in this book, and then what the other books that I have coming, one of them is definitely on the story of my life, to help encourage people that may have been through some things, going through some things similar to me or whatever, to encourage them on going forward. But I love the support. My mom, I not say enough about my mother. She has always been my supporter in everything that I've done. And in these past several years where God has really been elevating me, not only spiritually, but in my career, she just tells me, April, I am so proud of you. My daughter is doing some amazing things. And when she comments on my stuff on my posts and things that I put on social media, and she's like, that's my daughter, that's my baby girl, I'm proud of her. That means so much, because I know there are a lot of people that they don't have their mothers around anymore, but for me to have her, and for her to be in my corner, regardless of some of the crazy stuff that I've done in my life, where she could have been like, no, she has not been that. She has been there through the good, the bad, and the ugly. So my sister squad and my mom, just over the top. So yeah, that I would not have been able to really do this like I wanted had I not had that encouragement and that push. So I'm grateful for that.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. Support is such an important part of our
Mhm.
journeys, right? And particularly as Black women, we're often expected to carry a lot of weight and to do a lot of things by ourselves. And so it's good that we can come together and support one another. Now, you talk about your sister squad. I know I'm a part of the sister squad, so I get it. But just to share with other people,
Mhm.
for those people who say that Black women can't come together, they can't work together, that they don't do those things, what would you say to them?
Oh, I have definitely seen the different side, because I heard all of that. I've been hearing it for years. Like, we don't support each other, and we talk about each other, and we pull each other down. For me, the new kid on the block, and I don't even know if I can still say that because I'm over a year in now, but still the newest to the group, from day one, welcomed me like I had been a part of the Sister Squad for years, and just embraced me, and non-judgmental. And there were a lot of times that I didn't want to share anything, because I'm like, oh, they might think I'm stupid. They might think, oh my God, who is this? And why is she in here? But there was never any judgment. There was only support. And the stuff that we share and we talk about, they're nothing but supportive and pushing, because we do that to each other. So
We
with
do.
Jackie, with what she's doing, we push her. Everybody gets that support. It's not one person over the other. And we check each other when we need to be checked in love, but it's a checking to push that person, not to tear them down. So I
Right.
can genuinely and honestly say that Sister Squad, like there's none like us. And I often think about and compare us to, and I don't know how many people have seen this movie. Many of them probably have, but the movie with Ja Rule and Adrian Bailon with she's Hope. She's married to Israel Houghton now, but they did the movie years ago, I'm in Love with a Church Girl. And I think about the scene where he and his squad are walking out of a building, and they have the music playing, they have the swag, and they're walking and they're together and they're all looking good. And I'm like, that's my sister squad right there. That's how we walking. We got swag. We coming up out of there. We're making our presence known. And
Yes.
I love it. I love that.
Well, listen, I know everybody has been waiting and can't wait.
Mhm.
So listen, the title of the book is Intentional You. Go ahead, tell them the rest of it.
So, Intentional You, A Push to Destiny. That's the title of the book. It is a 31-day devotional of encouraging, uplifting things. Most of it comes from just my everyday life, how things have happened and God has dropped stuff in my spirit and put it together to the point where I'm like, are you serious? This is off a movie? This is off a commercial? This is all something I saw outside. And
Yeah.
the way that he puts the revelation together, I'm like, God, you are amazing. So a lot of times with stuff that I was hearing, I was laughing as at the same time, and not laughing to mock, but laughing like, God, you will just take the simplest things and give such a revelation that will blow people's mind, because I'm sitting here typing it up. Like I'm shocked. So yeah,
Absolutely.
intentional you, a push to destiny. And that's exactly the purpose of the book, is to push people, to encourage them. And the one thing that I love about it is this isn't a one-time read, or you don't have to read it in the set order that I've placed it. You can read it repeatedly. If you are having issues, you're down, stuff is not going well, you just open the book and read an entry and let it encourage you and uplift you. And I have a reflection page at the end of every entry so that you can reflect as to what you've read, how it resonates with you, and what you're thinking and what you're feeling at the time. And then you'll be able to go back over it and review, and things may change. You may feel a different way if you read it a second or a third time. It's like reading the Bible. You read the same scripture 3 times and get a different revelation every time. So that's
Wow.
the same thing with the book. Yeah.
And that's definitely true. So, you guys, listen, in case you're trying to figure out how to pre order your copy of the book, you go to bit.ly/intentional you pre order. Bit.ly/intentional you pre order. Let me see if I can drop that in the
Mhm.
comments so that y'all have a clickable link. How about that?
How about that? Corey says we have to get our member only jacket.
Yes.
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 We need to get t-shirts to say Sister Squad, and it has to be bedazzled with, sparkly
Yeah,
stuff
oh,
on
you
there.
know that. You know we gotta have bling to bling bling bling. Okay.
Right, right.
Yes, I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. So, running along the bottom of the screen is the link, but also in the comments, depending on where you're watching, it's also there on Dr. V Live, Dr. V's Place, Dr. V. Yeah, all my pages, right? And on YouTube. It's not going to show on my personal page. I apologize for that, but let me just go ahead and post it up there so that you guys can see it like that in case you need it to be a little bigger. Now, April, I
Mhm.
asked you, angel number 77 keeps popping up. It keeps showing up. It
All
keeps
right.
showing up.
Let me
I
write
just
that
need you to
down.
know that. So I asked you to prep a few devotions, a few entries from the
Mhm.
devotional, just so that you can read them and share them with the people. So could you share one of your devotional entries?
Absolutely. Let's see here. Let me pull it up so I can be a little fancy and have 2 screens up at once. Isn't that all right? This is one, and the title of it is "Heed the Call. It's Okay." You want me to read it?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So heed the call. It's okay. And this is reference from Genesis chapter 12, verses 1 through 3, and also verse 7. And I believe this is the year of elevation. God placed an assignment call on each of our lives before we were conceived. If you pay attention to what has taken place in your lives since January 1, I'm sure you can see where God has been calling you to a different place, a different level. This calling of God is to put you in the position to receive from Him. He is ready to bless you abundantly and take you higher, enlarging your territory. If it has not happened already, there will be a restlessness in your spirit that you cannot shake. You will be drawn more to prayer and worship. God will fill you at those moments with more anointing and power, but you must heed the call.
Mm.
God makes it clear when He calls. The directions are clear as well. Do not allow the enemy to confuse you and bring distractions as counterfeits to what God is showing you. Discernment and wisdom will aid you in determining if something is from God or not. Submission to God's will for your life is vital to your future. It is okay. Do not think that submitting will have you out in the middle of nowhere without support and help. Once you have submitted, you will see just how close the Father is with you. It is okay. Don't believe the lies that you are not qualified nor equipped. If you feel the pull to go there, there's a reason. Everything you have in you is necessary for your journey. So heed the call. It's okay. So that's one.
Girl, you gonna make me run over here. I'm trying to heed the call. That's all.
Ah,
Hey, mama.
mama.
Listen, our mama is on. Y'all, you see that, right? Hey, my
Yes,
two favorite girls.
yes.
Because I'm
I
hers
see that.
too. Okay? Rosalind said, come on, elevation, confirmation times
Okay.
confirmation.
Okay.
Amen. And I will tell you, having read the devotional, like it seemed like every entry that I read spoke directly to my life, directly to what's going on with me. I found myself in a constant state of want to shout, which is the reason I asked you why, the book, right?
Mhm.
Listen, Jackie said, oh my God, I can't wait to get that book in my hands. Yes, Jackie, yes. So, one of the reasons that I pushed you to write the book was that I was reading your daily inspiration, and I was like, girl, this is fire. Like, this needs to be in a book.
Mhm.
Like, literally every single day. I haven't seen a single entry that you made that was not fire. I'm talking about straight from the mouth of God fire. And that to me is very important. So I definitely wanted to make sure that I encouraged you, supported you, pushed you. Some might say bullied. I don't consider it bullying though. And you to go ahead and do it, angel number 77, because of the gift that's in you.
Mhm.
So I'm just so excited. And so now you guys had a chance to hear, some of what is in the book, right? Corey said, hey, Mama Green, your daughter's showing out. Yes. So what did y'all think about that devotion? What did y'all think about that one? Heed the call. It's okay.
Mhm.
And it ties into today when I talked in our service about following God's specific instructions.
Absolutely. And as I was reading it, I said, and I was reminded of today from the message on
Yes.
Passionate Pursuit to the drive by this morning. And I said, okay, God, confirm your word, confirm your word. Yeah. Yes.
It's
Yeah.
amazing. It's amazing. So we want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts? What did you think about that entry? Ross said, wrote for me. Wow. Ross, I'm gonna tell you, every single entry is like that. Every single y'all, and normally you can find one to be like dry, or doesn't hit every single entry. And y'all know I'm not easy like that, right? So when I say that, y'all know if I'm saying that they fire, they fire. Okay, they are definitely fire. They not even fire. They fire.
Fine. They fine.
Fire. They fire. Now
I
that's a
take that. I
fire.
would. One of the
Yes.
entries that I wrote, I was actually, it's from a movie. Well, a couple of them are from movies, but the first one that I got from a movie, I was laying in the bed and watching this movie, and and I don't do scary movies, but my oldest daughter was with me and she wanted to watch it. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I knew I was going to be hiding my face. But I'm sitting there and he's giving me this revelation from the movie as I'm watching it. And I just start laughing like, I'm up here scared watching this movie and you dropping this revelation off this movie. Are you serious? So, I just, he has definitely the stuff that he gives me. I know there is no way that I could have thought that up on my own. He had to give it. And the way that he gives it is just, it's so unique and it's different. It's not like anybody else. And I never want to imitate or try to be like anyone else. I want my own unique flavor and the way that he gives me stuff. And he does. He's giving me my own flavor. So, yeah.
He definitely has. We're going to talk
Yeah.
about that in just a minute. Jackie says sometimes when God calls, it can be uncomfortable, but I'm glad that you remind us that it's okay. Absolutely.
Absolutely. It
Ross
is.
said, not easy.
Yeah.
You know. Mama said, oh my God, I love the revelation about the fly trapped in the car.
Oh my goodness. I wrote that. I think, did I write that when I was out of town? I don't remember. Oh, maybe right before I left, but I remember that one. That one, I shook my head on that one. Like I just can't. Let me go in the house. It was funny. It was.
Yes.
Yeah,
Ross said he will use a donkey, everything for his purpose.
everything.
Absolutely.
Everything.
So you said something. You said, I never want to imitate anybody. I always want to have my own flavor, my own, voice, basically, is what you're saying. And I can remember calling you and telling you, April, listen, you're not trying to be like me.
Mm-hmm.
You're not trying to be like me. We're just alike in a lot of ways.
A
And and
lot.
and, and for me, that's important because I never want people to feel like I'm trying to make anybody be like me, right?
Mhm.
But I don't know, God just was on me heavy to call you and tell you that day. And what did you say to me?
And I'm so glad you did because I saw when we met for the first time in December for the retreat, and we were saying the same thing at the same time, pretty much laughing the same way, just doing the same stuff. And then as things progressed on, I started feeling really self conscious. Like, I don't want people to think that I'm trying to be like Dr. V or imitate her or have an anointing like hers. I'm not. It's just how it rolls. So what it was about to do, and you called me at the right time because I was about to shrink back into the bushes and just stay there, literally, because I did not want anybody to think that I was trying to be like you, which is I'm not. It just happened. It's like my mom, and my mom. Thank you, Mama. Y'all. It's like my mother. My mother and I, however it happened, have the same voice type. So when you hear me talk, you literally are hearing my mother. She sounds exactly the same. So when people would call the house as I'm growing up, and I would answer the phone, and they say, "Hey, Sister Green, how you doing?" I'm like, "This is April." "Oh my God, you sound just like your mom." I know. So we just happen to have that same voice type. But I'm not trying to be my mom. I'm not. I want to be like her in many ways. I do, Mama. So,
Oh.
but I didn't want that. So that was God does things so perfectly and at the right time because I was about to be a distant memory. Like, yeah, I don't want to do that. You want to pray? Nope. You gonna do this? Nope. Because I didn't want people to say, because it does come out like that. Like we do have very similar anointings and mannerisms. So, but I appreciate you listening to God and calling me that day because if you had not, I wouldn't be where I am right now. I would not. Yeah, I
Well,
appreciate that.
I'll tell you, one of the blessings of your presence in my life is that I feel like I get to see me. Like I get to see what I look like. And I'm like, that's how I be. I be like that. I be like, that's
Mm.
how I be showing up. Listen, I remember when we were at the retreat and you started prophesying, and I was looking, I'm just smiling. I was smiling so big. I be like, this is what it's like.
You know what? You sure enough got me at the retreat. You got me because I came down and I was just so excited that I was finally in your presence live and in person. I had been watching you for almost a year, if not a year, yeah, on the prophetic drive-bys. And I'm like, oh, Dr. V, Dr. V. And then to actually be live in the same house with you while you did that. And I came downstairs and I was just like proud, like, oh, look at her. And then you called me over there and I'm like, oh, I'll just go over there and talk about the retreat and everything. And then you said, and if you want a prophetic word, April and I are going to give you a word. And I really kept my face straight because I wanted to do this.
I know you lied.
My face was saying, I know you lied. But I was like, you can do that. You streaming live. And I'm like, oh my goodness. But what got me even more is how, even though in my nervousness, I literally was hearing God talk about and tell me about people that I did not know, have never seen a day in my life. And I said, okay, well, this is what he's saying. This is what I'm going to say. I couldn't even believe it. And I was floored afterwards. Like, she got me. She got me because
See, God got you. God got you. Yeah.
that was something. Yeah.
Corey said, we all speak the same language in our sister circle because we're connected in the natural and spiritual. So we all just might remind people of each other sometimes. Absolutely,
That
Corey.
is true.
And everybody has a saying that, we picked up. Listen,
Yeah.
when it comes to Stacy, well, did you pray about it?
Right.
What did God say?
What did God say? We know what she's going to say. Thank you, Roz.
Absolutely.
I read your comment, Roz. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, I'm going to read it out loud. Roz said, you are so unique. When I first heard your voice, I was like, oh my God, this lady is somebody. Yeah,
Thank
and you too,
you.
Roz. You somebody too.
Absolutely. Because I remember hearing you pray when we were doing, what was that,
Yes.
our fast? And I was like, Jesus, I'm getting ready to shout right here in my house. And I was feeling weak, and you lifted me up off that prayer. I'm telling you, you got it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Mama Green said, God has people with the same spirit to support each other. Absolutely, Mama.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And I love it. Mama also said, God also put people in our lives to propel us to the next level. He has a mission for each one of us, and it had to come from.
You
All
better
right,
come
Mama.
through, Mama. You all right?
All right,
I'm
Mama.
trying to start something
You
right
you
up
you
in
finna be
here.
next. Your book finna be next. All right, don't play.
Oh my
Ross said,
goodness.
"Oh, thanks, sis. Yes,
Oh.
yes, yes." But this is the beauty. One of the things that I absolutely love about you, April, is your humility. You're very humble, right? You're gifted, you're anointed, you're extremely talented, but you're very humble, and you're not. There was a time when you were hesitant and doubtful of you, right?
Mhm.
Doubtful of your place, doubtful of how you were going to show up. But that's not it now. Now it's just straight humility, but confidence in who God made you to be. Talk to me a little bit about how you made that journey from shrinking back, falling back, not necessarily being the most confident in you,
Mhm.
to being able to show up confidently, but also with humility.
Wow. So, number one, it's been prophesied to me from uh, childhood about who I was and what I possessed. I will distinctly remember a lady who in Valdosta, Georgia, who a prophetess in her own right. She told me, and I don't remember how old I was, but she told me that same anointing that was on my parents rested on me, and that
Mm,
prophetic anointing. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm a kid, nobody really pays any attention to that. And I'm a kid, like I don't. And as I got older and began to hear more and more, I don't want no parts of it. I no parts of it at all. And then as I grew, there were some things that I had to deal with in my own personal life. So, people always say, oh, just pray and God will deliver. Yes, but He also gave me another avenue. So I had to honestly get therapy. So I went through getting therapy and also prayer and working on me, doing the work for me. I did that. And that's what helped me to get to where I am and just fully accept it. And also, too, God really just, I felt like He kicked me in my back to kick me out. Not in a negative way, but like, you know
right.
what, you're messing around here. And He kept putting me in situations where I had to operate, where I had to do stuff, where I had to be out in the forefront. And I'm like, I really don't want to do this. I really don't. I
Right.
don't want to do none of that. No, I don't want to pray. No, I don't want to prophesy. No, I don't want to preach. I don't want to do any of that. Can I just be a little regular member? And see, that's what when I moved to New Jersey in 2019, that's what I planned to do. I had all mapped out. I was going to find a church. I was going to sit in the back of the church. I was going to pay my tithes and offering. I was going to support the ministry and keep my mouth shut. That's what I was going to do. And that didn't work because apparently I exude this aura.
And do.
And so I came in with the kids and I had already had it mapped out. I tell the kids every church we visit, we're sitting in the back. Y'all stay close to me. If I say let's go, because I'm the protector of them because I don't have no husband to cover me right now. So I had to do the covering for the kids. And so we're sitting at the church and the first lady comes and she says, "Are you a missionary?" And I was like, my plan was to say, no, I'm good. But I can't lie in the house of the Lord. So my plan was to say no. And then instead of saying no, I said, well, I used to be, but I didn't, renew my license, blah, blah, blah. And then I was thinking, okay, I'm done with that. And I'm sitting there as she walks away. I'm like having this internal conversation with myself, like, April, why did you do that? That's not what you were supposed to say, because I was going to be low key. Well, come to find out, they were like, nah, you're not no missionary. You straight up evangelist preacher. I was like, okay, still want to sit in the back. And the next thing I know, I'm on the front row in leadership. Like, I don't, no. But I understand. And I understand that there are people who want to be in this position and the limelight and all of that. And you can tell. And I've seen that. And I never want to be that. I really want to do what God tells me to do. I really want to help people. And I've helped and coached so many people, and they've gotten on the other end of their lives. And now I understand why I have not been in the same place for long periods of time. I did not understand. I'm like, God, I'm here. And then I'm there 2 years, maybe 3 years, and then I'm gone. Like, God, I want to be like other people that say, oh, I've been on this 30 years and I'm getting ready to retire. I don't have that story because I've been everywhere. But it wasn't until one of your drive-bys when you said prophetic people do not stay in the same place, geographical location long. And so then I'm like, God, is that me? And he took me back to early 2000s when right after my son was born, I think. Or right before he was born, and I was working at a pharmacy in Georgia, in Valdosta, and then I was there for a period of time, and then I was gone. And I'm like, but I love this job. I love the people. Everything was great. And he showed me who I was there for. I helped her get on the other side. It was a problem, and I helped her get on the other side of it, and then I was gone just like that. And
Yes.
so, but the residual or the results of that were still there. So now, more recently, I just left New Jersey, and I poured into my students. I love education. I love teaching my students, and so I did not want to leave them when God gave me the word to move to San Antonio. Like, that was one of the most difficult things that I had to do, and my students I had one to message me while I was out of town last week to tell me that the clinical site where she is, they offered her a job and they said they absolutely love her. And she said, Miss A, that's what they call me, Miss A, this would not be possible without you. So I clearly did what I was supposed to do. And all of them have said that. I'm like, okay, God, but still, on the other hand, but when I hit 4 years in New Jersey, I'm like, okay, I passed my leave time. So I thought I was safe. I was getting ready to try to look for a house and everything. And God said, no, I need you to go to San Antonio. And I said, okay. So I'm honored that God would use me the way that he has been. I'm so honored because I haven't made him proud much. There have been many things that I have done that went against his will, went against his word, but he yet and still loved me enough to say, you know what? I want to use you because you are like that. And you're not going to get puffed up and your head not going to get big.
Yeah.
You're not going to think no, I'm not. I'm just April, little country girl from Valdosta, Georgia, that happens to be anointed and appointed and called by God. And he uses me the way that he does. And I like the way he does it. I like the uniqueness because then I don't have to fit into a mold that people think that I should fall into.
Come on.
I'm doing it my way. I'm doing it the way that works for me. So Yeah, I am. And I will never, ever get to that. I don't care how high God elevates me. It's still going to be about his people. It's still going to be about helping them. Because when I stand before him, I want him to say, well done. You've served well. You've helped my people. You have encouraged them. You've uplifted them. Well done. Come on in here. I got that mansion down there on the corner for you. Take that. I will.
I love it. I love it. Well, listen, April, go ahead and dig out another devotion
Okay.
to read to us. And while you're doing that, I want you all to go ahead and write down this website, bit.ly intentional you pre-order, bit.ly intentional you pre-order. Go pre-order your copy of Intentional You, A Push to Destiny. You want a copy of this devotional. And after you hear this devotion that she's going to read to us, you'll understand why you've got to get this book. All right, April, go
All
ahead.
right. So this one is entitled Put Yourself in the Pool. This comes from John chapter 5, verses 2 through 7, and also James chapter 2, verse 26. It says, one thing very widespread in the world today is a lack of acceptance of responsibility. Many people want others to do everything for them. They do not want to go forth for themselves. It is perpetuating a cycle of laziness and entitlement. In John chapter 5, verses 2 through 7, Jesus had a conversation with a lame man about being healed. He responded that there was no one else to put him in the pool after the angel troubled the waters. Everyone else got in before him. Now, Jesus told him to take up his mat and walk. He didn't get into a discussion about why no one was helping him or anything of that nature. The revelation I received from this led to the title of this day's devotion. Why didn't the man put himself in the pool? You may ask, how if he was lame? I'm so glad that you asked. There are things we must do to facilitate our healing and deliverance. We cannot pray and do nothing. Even if there isn't any physical work that needs to be done, there is faith that should be activated. Consider this regarding the man at the pool. The Bible does not speak of the man's arms and if he wasn't able to move them. He could have used his arms to drag himself close to the edge of the pool so he could be the first one in when it was trouble. Since he said that there wasn't anyone to put him in the pool, he stayed there in the condition and position he was in, never being healed. The man clearly could speak because he talked to Jesus. Did
Come
he
on.
ever ask anyone to put him in the pool, or did he wait for them to approach him asking if he wanted to get in the pool? Babies, when preparing to walk, first start by pulling up on items to stand. They may take a step or two. If the babies fall, they may cry a little, but will more than likely get up and try again. They do not give up nor whine and wait for someone else to pick them up. If babies can do that for themselves, why couldn't the man at the pool do this for himself? We are not entitled. God has given us the physical ability to move, the mental capacity to think for ourselves, and the verbal ability to speak. One of these options will work if the others do not. So, as the man at the pool could have facilitated his own healing, so can we.
Mm.
Sometimes it is just as simple as changing our eating habits if we want to lose weight or overcome sickness. We need to put ourselves in the pool. Use what God has given you to facilitate your growth and deliverance.
Girl, that's fine. Girl, April, do y'all see what I'm talking about? Sis preaching. Yeah, you definitely needed to write a book. When volume 2 dropping? Come on now.
Oh,
Mama talking about we taking this book to the women's convention next year. Come on. Told you. Yes, yes.
mhm.
Listen, and this is why I love it. This is why I love it. This is why I love you. Like, that's something that's very important to me. Like, I feel like we make a lot of excuses. And so I love that you incorporated that particular passage Angel number 99. I love
Mm,
that you incorporated that in the book. And I'm going to tell you why. Because a lot of times we find ourselves in positions where we have all these reasons why we can't, all these reasons why we shouldn't, all these reasons why we're not qualified. And what
mhm.
I absolutely love about you is that you didn't give me none of that. You looked at me like I was crazy. You looked at me like you wanted to say, I know you lied. And then said, okay, Dr. V.
Mhm.
I don't think, and I've said this to you before, but I just want to say, but I don't think you understand how that blesses me as a coach, right? When you coach, you always can see further than the player in the game, right? You always are going steps ahead. You always are seeing stuff that's yet to come. And so sometimes it's challenging when you coach and you're giving instruction, but the instruction is not being followed for whatever reason, right? We have a lot of reasons why we don't follow the instructions. We might not be able to see it yet. We might be afraid. We might have challenges with it, but it's nice. It's
Mhm.
nice to be able to say it, and
Yeah.
then bam, it's
Mhm.
done. Like, I love that. And I want you to know that because you're like that with me, God is going to send somebody like that to you. And you're going to be like, oh, that just listened. Oh, that just did it. Oh, 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 oh. And you're going to see them get those results quickly, right? Now, everybody's journey is not the same. So I
Mhm.
don't say this to put anybody else down. I'm simply saying that it's nice to have somebody who is ready to go. Like,
Mhm.
put me in, coach. You know, that's your favorite thing. Put me in, coach. Put me in, coach.
Yeah.
Because it just reminds you that, yeah, that you're making a difference.
And
Smack said, go ahead, babe.
you made it very easy for me to be obedient and follow because we had built that rapport, and I saw your track record when it came to me. You know, you have prophesied into my life so much and encouraged me so much. And what you have prophesied, that stuff came to pass. And I was like, oh, she's really, truly a woman of God. So I know when you tell me and direct me to do something, you're just not, it's not coming from Dr. V. That's
It's
coming
not.
straight from God. And if I don't be obedient, then I'm going to miss out on what God has for me. And I have forfeited too many blessings in my life to continue that cycle. Not happening. So if you say it and I give you that look, like I know you lying, I will give you that look, but I'm gonna go and be obedient and do it because I know there's a blessing tied to that. And I don't do it just to get the blessings. I do it because I want to be obedient and I want to please God. He's trying to bless me. How dare I not be obedient and do it? He's like, you don't even want this blessing. And then you want to whine and say, God, you're not blessing me. I tried to. You weren't obedient. So what do you want me to do? So no, I'm going to be obedient. So like this morning, when you called me an hour before service started and said, I'm going to need you to do an opening prayer, I'm still laying in the bed. I had just gotten off the drive-by. I'm like, I'm going back to sleep for a little bit. Then I'll get up and get ready for church. And you called me and I'm like, oh, okay, let me get on up. And I got right up and got myself together and was ready to do that because I know there's a blessing in the obedience. There's a blessing
Yes.
in being obedient.
Listen, Smack said, amen. We always stand in our way to move forward to our purpose. Yes. Mr. Massey, Rev Massey said, repeat, I missed everything.
You know what,
Sir, you're
John?
going to
I'm
have
gonna
to
call
go
you.
back.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
call
because you're
you
the reason we're
later.
on here tonight. You launched this, okay, sir? Smack said, I'm coming for everything God has put in front of me. I may not have the opportunity again. I needed to tune into this today. Amen.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Rod says, stay ready. You don't have to get ready. Rod, you know that's my thing, girl. I be like, y'all better be ready. Y'all be,
Right.
I'm subject to call on you at any time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And listen, it's not to throw you off. It's not to embarrass you. It's not for any of that. It's that, listen, We don't have the luxury of taking time to get ready when God has been preparing us. We
Mm-hmm.
don't trust what's in us.
Yeah,
We don't
absolutely.
trust what's in us.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that we need is already in us, but we
Absolutely.
don't trust it. So if you don't trust it, you're not going to move on it, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So that's why I'm so excited about all of this. And one of the things I love is I love getting the opportunity to celebrate those who I've worked with. I celebrate everybody. I really am going to celebrate those that I've worked with and celebrate my sisters. I absolutely am going to do that,
Mm-hmm.
particularly because, listen, it's so, I feel like a proud mama. I ain't even gonna lie. I be like, yes, honey. I be like, yes,
Mm-hmm.
that's my April. That's my April. Go, April. That's my Corey. That's my Corey. Go, Corey. That's my Ross. That's my. I be cheering for everybody
Mm-hmm.
because I know what the work that you all have put in to get to where you are. And that's what's so important. You guys, we spend so much time looking at where people are now. We may be able to celebrate where they are now, but it's an even greater celebration when you know where they've been,
Mm-hmm.
when you know what they've come through, when you know the obstacles that they've had to overcome, the things that they've had to face. Like that is the thing that makes me be like, oh, baby, don't play with us.
That's
We
right.
coming for everything,
Right.
all of it.
Mm-hmm. One thing that I see now in this day is that God is speeding things up. He's
Yes,
doing things. He's. You're not having to wait lengthy times for him to bless and open doors and do things. He's doing things quickly. And if you don't get in position and get yourself ready, you're going to miss it. Is that opportunity is just going to disappear, and I don't want that. I want to make sure that I'm always in position, ready, and I'm in position through my obedience. I'm in position through making sure I have myself in order. I'm making sure I'm hearing God because stuff is just, I mean, dropping like all of this traveling that I've been doing in these, and I'm getting ready to leave again Wednesday, and I won't be back until the very end of June. So it's just, and I just got back in town Friday morning. So it's like nonstop. God is just doing stuff so fast, and I'm just sitting back in awe. I have to be obedient. I have to
yes.
be ready. I have to do that. It's necessary. Definitely necessary.
Wow. Wow. Well, I'm so excited. We've come to the end of the hour. Like we're at 58 minutes, girl. I can't believe it. So, April, what is it that you want to leave the people with?
Mm. This is what I want to say. For those of you that have been thinking of businesses or writing books or starting a nonprofit or whatever it is, the time is now. It is
Yes.
now the time. Um, you have delayed too long. You have procrastinated too long. You have second guessed yourself too long, and it's time out for that. Is that? Um, get this book. Read this book. Let it encourage you. Let it give you that kick, that push, that fire under your seat that you need to take that step. All you got to do is take that step. I was talking with a friend of mine the other day, and they want to start a business, but what they told me is that they were scared to fail. And I said, well, why would you even say that out of your mouth? Why would you even let that be a thought in your mind? Because if God is with you and he has placed that in you to do it, then you will not fail. So let's change that and say, I'm excited about the success that will take place from this business. So apparently they need to get this book. So I'm
Listen,
like, look, you need to get this book.
I see Coach April in operation. That's what I see. I see Coach April in operation. I'm
That will be
so,
coming. Yes, that will
so proud
definitely
of
be
you.
coming. Thank
I'm
you. I
so
appreciate
proud of you. So,
it. Thank
so
you.
proud. Smack said failure is never final. Success is never ending. Oh, that's
Mm,
good,
that's
Snap. I
good. That is
like that. Corey
good.
said, so proud of you, sis.
Thank you, Corey. Thank
Corey
you.
said, that journey, baby. Nisi said,
Yeah.
amen. Listen, I'm super excited. I want to let you know again how you can order the book, and I'm going to let April tell you how you can follow her. Go to bit.ly /intentional you pre-order, bit.ly /intentional you pre-order, all lowercase, and you'll be able to access it. Get your book, because right now, what shipping
Free
is what?
shipping, free shipping.
Hey! Y'all know we like some free, honey.
Mhm.
April, tell them how to follow you on Facebook and Instagram and how to stay in touch with you.
So I have so many. So on Facebook, I'm April Green Anderson there. On Instagram, and TikTok, I'm Lady April 36. And I'm also on YouTube. And y'all, I need you to do me a favor. I need to get my subscribers up so I can start streaming live from there. So if you are not following me on YouTube, please go over there, and I believe it's just my name, if I'm not mistaken, that you can find me on YouTube and subscribe. I actually have some videos that I had done, I don't know, maybe almost 2 years ago, of some motivational stuff. So I went from doing like videos to doing the written part. But go follow me there. You have all those platforms. I have other things that God has dropped in my spirit to do. And I'm like, you want me to do that, Lord? You want me to do that? So from coaching programs, he dropped in my spirit about a prayer clinic, and I have to get more clarity on him on what he wants me to do with that. And so, if you need that, reach out and we'll work something out. But definitely follow me. And just thank you so much for those that have already pre-ordered the book. I appreciate you. Those that are going to order, don't order one, order two, because you know someone that needs this same information. So give it to them as a gift that will help them in their life. And I'm just so appreciative for everyone. Thank you.
And Afterpay is available.
Yes, it
Blue,
is. Yes, it
okay?
is.
You can pay 1/4 of it today and order as many books as you want to order. Pay for it over 8 weeks. I'm
Yep.
just saying what I'm saying, okay?
Right, right.
Well, April, thank you for being my first guest on this inaugural episode of Dr. V's Place. I'm so glad you could come over and hang out with me. I always love it when I get to hang out with you. This was just an added blessing. Mike, thank you for the push, because I was not planning on launching Dr. V's Place for a minute, but clearly God had another plan. So we want to thank you for joining us, for tuning in. Tune in next Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central for another episode of Dr. V's Place, where we what love you to life and what, April?
Life more abundant.
You guys have a great night.